Scorpio, welcome to your hopes, fears, and reality spread. As per usual, you can click right on that description box below, and it will talk about the significance of the spread as well as the placement of each card. And I would just like to take a minute to remind everybody that I do not hyper-focus on love, career, or finance. I hyper-focus on self-care and finding balance between your head and your heart, conscious, subconscious, intellect, and intuition. Oh, what fell out here? What's 3 for the hope? I usually only do 2, but 3 of them came out. The universe has spoken. Ooh. Okay. So, for your hope, you're hoping to move forward past a transitional period. So the Chariot here talks about this chariot represents time. The 2 horses represent opposing forces, and the charioteer doesn't have any reins. It's by sheer willpower that he molds these forces to work together to get everything in the direction that he wants to go. He's in control here. So now you have the Emperor here, and the Emperor is also somebody who's in control. This is like the CEO. So this is the guy who sits at the desk and makes the plans. And this is the guy who goes out and executes the plans, right? And 3 cards popped out. So you have Death, which is all about, it's kind of bright, huh? Oh, there we go. Death, which is all about transformation in reverse. So it feels to me, Scorpio, like you are rushing through a transformation period that you somehow know is necessary. It's you, so it's like, you know in your head the lesson that was supposed to be learned from the biggest hiccup, mistake, problem, whatever was dumped in your lap. You know that there was a lesson to be learned, and you're like, okay, I know this now. I won't make that mistake again. But the reason the transitional period isn't over and the reason you're trying to push past it is because you don't feel it, right? So you know what the situation is, but you still feel a tie to whatever that was. You haven't truly let go of it, but you're really hoping just to muscle past all that. You're like, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to move forward. The fear is exactly what I was talking about, that intuition, that inner knowing that more work needs to be done, okay? And then you have the sun in the inverse, which is like a lack of illumination. It's a lack of understanding. So the fear that you have is that somewhere deep down inside, you know you have to process this more, and there's a deeper understanding and meaning to it all. But like I said, your hope is like, I ain't got time for that. The reality of the situation is you are not going to be able to move forward until you've completed your stage of rejuvenation and reflection. Okay, you just need more time. Okay, now I'm not saying you can't distract yourself from this for a little while to numb the pain so you can go back and deal with it, or just take that little bit of time so the feelings aren't that intense. If you push past it now, you'll still have to deal with it later, because as you fear, you know that there's something more that has to be processed, and the reality is showing that you still need a little bit more time of rest, reflection, healing, understanding in the situation before you can move forward. Wow. Yep. So, like I said, the idea is, okay, if I just move forward, I'll heal from this faster. But the reality of the situation is there's still a lot of truths that need to be dealt with, and there's still some things that need to be looked at that aren't easy. There are hard choices to be made. And if you don't take the time to make the choices, you won't be victorious in the long run. So what I would say is, yes, work on moving on. But don't push so far through it that you don't actually take the time to process what happened and the lesson that you learned. Because it doesn't do us any good to go through these difficult times in our life if we don't actually process the lesson learned and change our habits so we don't make that same mistake over and over again. Scorpio, I hope you found a message that serves your highest good, and I will see you next time.